Hey, what's up, peeps? This is Ashton Clips back with another YouTube video. Finally, after like a millennium or however long it's been, a while. It's actually in all seriousness, probably been about a month, but been kind of busy with life shenanigans and whatnot. So you guys know how that is. But anyway, for those of you curious, this is not the alpha. This is actually the technical beta 2, the second phase of the technical beta. I actually meant to do a video on the first phase of the technical beta, but I missed it because I just had too much going on and I didn't pay enough attention to them announcing when the first phase went live, so I missed out on that. But I am back with coverage on the second phase. Um, Real quick, since I did mention that this is not the alpha, this second technical beta phase is actually much different than the alpha. The graphics are updated, there's different abilities, there's different ability animations. And basically what their goal is with this second technical beta is to just grind out some various outlying basically various gameplay glitches and bugs, and they're also testing their servers. Um, as far as I know, so far their biggest issue has been with their servers. They've been having a lot of client-side localization problems with the servers, which has been preventing people from actually connecting to the game and creating a game. So they have been actively working on that, and I know a lot of people have been active in the Discord as well as myself, as far as seeing what gameplay bugs and glitches there are and reporting them. Um, for me personally, I have a lot of opportunistic thoughts about this game. They have a lot of opportunity to take this game pretty far and be pretty successful since Blizzard did drop the ball with their mobile game announcement, even though Diablo 4 is still in the works. It just it gives this development studio a chance to really kind of capitalize on the ARPG market, more or less. So I'm pretty hyped about it. Pretty optimistic that this game will do well, especially if we keep having people aside from myself be active in helping them grind out things that are wrong with the game. So that's pretty much all this technical beta is. We have limited shopkeepers. We have the normal shopkeeper and then the spell shopkeeper and the gem shopkeeper. And that's all we got going here. I will show you guys it's kind of, yeah, see like right there, that animation when I went to roll up the ramp. That's pretty much the kind of stuff that we've been looking for. So I'm actually going to mention that on Discord later, because that's actually something I don't think I've reported yet. But the starting area is pretty straightforward. Like I said, their whole goal is to just stabilize the servers first and foremost, and then work on fixing what they can with the gameplay. So there really isn't anything special with the starting zone. It's pretty bare bones, but without actually giving anything away, I will say that there are some secrets that can be had in the starting zone, and you'll find those just by wandering through the starting environment. and there's 2 different messages that can be found. So that's pretty neat of the developers. Just something a little bit extra and fun to do for the why nots. Just as their way of thanking us for helping them out with their game and stuff. So it's pretty cool in my opinion. And gameplay wise, there actually isn't all that many bugs that I've encountered. There really isn't anything super major. Most of it has just been animation glitches. And then I know there's some various people who have had issues with actually either getting thrown off of the map or rolling off the map by accident, or, you know, various things like that. I will go ahead and go over builds a little bit for you guys. Right now I'm using a dual dagger build, like I did with my original character in the alpha. It's basically like an assassin type build. I have my auto attack, and then I have Anvil's Woe, which does lots of damage and does some area damage. Phantom Blades, which is a straight line skill shot, which is pretty helpful. Gives a lot of utility to this build, because if you're being attacked by something at range, then this gives you an opportunity to return fire from distance. And then Wings of Ishmir is actually kind of it's kind of an engagement ability. I'm sure I'll show it during this video, but you basically leap into the air and down onto wherever your cursor is, i.e. whatever enemy you have your cursor on, and it actually, with the rune, or I think it's the runes. Yeah, with the runes that I've selected in the skills tree, it actually has a chance to stun, and the attack animation for the actual attack itself executes faster. So that's pretty neat. And yes, there is a skill tree in this technical beta second phase. However, we do not have the talent system in this technical beta like we do in the alpha, and I believe they actually had it in the passive skill tree is what I was meaning to mention. But I believe the passive skill tree they actually did have enabled in the first phase of technical beta, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So, and yeah, I basically have just been testing the gameplay, seeing what builds actually work the best. I can say pretty confidently that staff and catalyst build works really well. Dual guns works pretty well. Dual daggers, dual swords. Actually, one-handed dagger and a one-handed sword actually is a pretty good build as well. I may actually go with a dagger and a one-handed sword once the game is actually closer to release, just because of the utility that it gives. It gives you a faster attack, but it also gives you a cleave that you don't really have with daggers. Because you do have You have a frontal cleave with the dual daggers, but it's pretty rare for it to actually happen. So I could see that being an issue in the actual release of the game. If you were to actually get surrounded by these mobs. Oh, I have a small stamina potion apparently. There we go. And this build is pretty strong overall just because of the attack speed, but um, it's tough because with the daggers you don't do quite as much damage, and like you said, you lose that frontal cleave that you would have with the sword equipped. So like I said, unless something really drastic happens with the weapons between now and the actual release of the game, then I'm probably just going to stick with a sword in my main hand and a dagger in my offhand. And I'll just use that as my assassin build. And as always, my build is heavily focused on agility, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and attack speed. Um, an adjustment that I'll most likely make later on in later technical betas, and once the game gets more fleshed out in general, is I'll probably incorporate some kind of bleed, chance on bleed. So go ahead and shut up for a little while here and let you guys actually see what the overall gameplay is about. Another thing to mention too is there actually is a fair amount of destructible items in this randomly generated dungeon, which is how they're allowing us to actually test gameplay, is these randomly generated dungeons with these predetermined mobs. But there's a lot of destructible items, which I feel is probably one of the things they really wanted to test the most. I haven't had any issues with the destructible items aside from some abilities and auto attacks just not registering, which I have recorded to or reported to the bug reporting section of their Discord. So Another interesting bug and glitch that I've actually found with this technical beta is my damage values for my daggers keeps going up and down upon logging out and logging back into the game, which is really weird and pretty positive not intended at all. So trying to actually find some sort of big guy so you guys can get a more accurate grasp on what my ability combos are. Oh, I died. That was interesting. I actually went to charge attack a mob there and it didn't actually hit the mob. Wonder if that's because I animation canceled without meaning to or what. So stun didn't go off. And I got wrecked. I don't have as much survivability with this build as I would like, unfortunately, so if my Wings of Ishmir doesn't stun, then I'm usually put in a pretty bad spot. I got a unique from that. Interesting. And as you saw there, I went to use my Wings of Ishmir and he jumped at the same time, so I don't think either of our... I don't think he was attacking, I think he was just avoiding my attack. But I didn't end up doing any damage, obviously. So that's 5 uniques that I've gotten so far. It's actually a really strong unique. Adds an extra 2 projectiles along with critical hit chance and agility. Wow, that'd be a really good bow for some sort of bow build. Let's see if I can stun him this time. Nope. Just with those sadistic thugs, I just have to play smarter is all, because they do so much damage. And Anvil's Woe actually does do a fairly good job with providing AoE for the trash mobs, since my auto attacks don't normally have any cleave or AoE. There he just ended up spinning in place, which I don't think is intended either. So that's another thing I'll be reporting to the Discord. Which probably had something to do with the combination of abilities that I used. There we go. Now I stunned him. When I stun these sadistic thugs, it's really easy for me to focus them down because I have such a fast attack speed. It's when I don't stun them that I have to be a little bit more patient and smarter about how I engage them. Hmm. And luckily we still do have a mini map that we can use when we're in a dungeon. Or, well, not really a mini map, it's more a secondary map, but and as you guys can see, the Phantom Blades is very effective with the kind of runes that I'm using with it. Oh, that was a chest. And there are there are gems as well, so let's see if there's any chests. Uh, there we go. Yep, super effective when there's mobs clustered like that. And the charges actually replenish pretty quickly too, so it's not like I use it and then I have to wait an hour to use it again. Good old barf birds, you know what I'm saying? With the barfing of the poison everywhere. Let's see. And those guys also explode too. which does damage and has the potential of poisoning you on top of that. Oh, you got caught in the explosion. Although one good thing is it does look like Phantom Blades actually does destroy breakable objects properly, so I was hoping that I would be able to get to one of the other mob types, which actually has kind of almost like boss mechanics more or less, but I didn't get the correct randomly generated dungeon. But I believe I have pretty much gone over everything that they're allowing us to do in the technical beta. As far as inventory goes, it's pretty standard to what we were doing in the alpha. Except I'm pretty sure they made it easier to get uniques, and I'm pretty positive that's on purpose because they want to test the various unique affixes and stuff like that to make sure that they're actually working properly. And oh, they are letting us customize our stats as well. So that's the other system that they actually did allow us to play with a little bit in this technical beta, is the stat system. But as far as I know, they haven't done anything outlyingly critical as far as changing the stat system. So I don't really know if they're testing anything as far as that goes, or if they're just leaving it the way it is. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video and this continuing coverage of the development of Wolcen Lords of Mayhem. If you did, feel free to poke the like button, share the video, sub if you're new, do all that fun stuff. I will have my Twitter as well as my Discord linked in this description if you guys want to keep track of when I actually do upload. And then as well, I will be leaking the main Wolcen site, their Discord, and their Twitter, so you guys can keep up to date with them and just be in the know as far as what's going on. So, hope you guys have a lovely weekend and a fairly good work week, or at least as good as possible. And I will see you guys in the next video. Later.